3 rules of money I wish I knew previously. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm just here in my office chilling a little bit and working on some things, writing a new book, and I started thinking about, money and what I've learned over the past probably 10 years. And I wanted to make a video, so turned on the camera and started rolling. I kind of boiled it down to these 3 rules, and I know these 3 are what is responsible for my success and pretty much any other multimillionaire that's on the planet. So before we get started though, this is Money Habits. I'm your host, Dr. Stephanie Aldrich, and I like to talk about money and habits that can change your life. If you're new to this channel and you like the video, hit the subscribe button down below and stay till the end so you know all 3 rules, because you never know which one is going to make the difference in your life. So the first rule that I came down to is simply be. B-E. In James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, he talks about an easy process of how to change a habit. And one of the first things that you must do is you have to change your identity. So it's not that, well, I haven't smoked for 24 days. It's that I am not a smoker. That's an identity shift. If you're counting, you haven't owned it. You haven't changed completely. You haven't identified with the new person that you want to be. And it's the same thing in wealth. If I identify as a wealthy person, I'm not going to spend my entire paycheck. I'm going to have savings. I'm going to have an emergency fund. I'm going to invest my money. I'm going to only buy things that pay me. That's an asset. I'm not going to fill my house, my garage, my car, whatever, with liabilities. I'm not going to spend all of my money on liabilities that take money out of my pocket, that they don't pay me, that they don't grow my wealth. That's what a wealthy person does. That's what a multimillionaire does. They use their money to make more money. And then that money, they can either spend it on things that make their life wonderful, conveniences, luxury items, trips, experiences, that kind of thing, and help their family and community, charity, always giving, or they can use that money to buy more assets, and they keep the chain going. So in order to increase your wealth, to build wealth, to become wealthy, you have to think like a wealthy person. And in order to think like a wealthy person, you have to start getting rid of the scarcity mindset. You have to stop playing victim and thinking that other people are to blame for you not having money, to blame for not being able to get a break, to blame for keeping you down or keeping you in a certain area or keeping you, away from an opportunity. Because in this day and age, everyone has an opportunity to be wealthy. No matter where you come from, no matter where you're born, what country, who you are, even females. We've been suppressed for so long. Even if we have family, multiple kids, even if our health isn't that great, we too can build wealth. But you got to start thinking like a multimillionaire. You have to start thinking, what is it that I have to do? What is it that I have to change in myself, in my actions, in my thoughts, in my beliefs, in order for me to start building wealth? What do I have to change? And sometimes that's hard for people, is to change. You think you know it all. You're a teenager, you think you're the bomb, you know all the facts. Well, the older you get, the smaller your world gets, and you realize that there's a big bad world out there that you have no clue about. And for most people, that's building wealth. They say that, a few years ago it was like 67% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. And then it went up to 76%. And today I just heard on one of the podcasts that I follow, it's up to 78%. So 8 out of 10 people, basically, 8 out of 10 people are living paycheck to paycheck. They're going to struggle. They're going to worry. They're going to have anxiety and stress about how to make ends meet, because they're not thinking that there's a way out for them. They're not thinking that there's something different that they need to be doing. They're not thinking that they need to change, because this is just the way it is. Well, rule number 1 is you have to be a different person. You have to identify as a multimillionaire, identify as a wealth creator. You have to be more valuable, bring value to the marketplace, help more customers, create more value, solve more problems. That might be you're inventing things, products and services. That might be like me, I'm a dentist. I have to solve more problems. I need more people in my practice so I can help them create a smile that they're proud of and they can use and get out of pain and embarrassment. That's what I do. And because I know that there's millions of people with and without teeth, everyone's a customer. I'm thinking like a wealthy person. I'm thinking like a business owner. I'm thinking of someone that wants to help other people to create value, which brings me money in return. The second money rule is to do. That means you need to start acting on that mindset that you just created. How do millionaires act? How do business owners act? What makes them tick compared to the average Joe? What do they do differently? What actions do they take? Well, first of all, they own stuff. In Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which I highly recommend, I've read it 5 times, and until the 5th time I didn't get it. Now I got it. And it completely changed the way that I spend my money. Rich people own things. And not just luxury goods. You see the pimping and, the furs and the Lambos and the gold chains and all that. That's not wealth. Wealth is quiet. Wealth is in the background. Wealth is continuing to grow without you seeing it. Wealthy people act differently. They buy assets. Assets are things that put money back in your pocket, that grow, that multiply. Liabilities, on the other hand, are your furs and your gold chains and, all this stuff. The reason why I think it's 90% of professional athletes go broke is because they spend it on things that don't pay them. Usually they're only playing maybe 3 to 5 years before they get injured or just don't cut it anymore on the field. And they don't realize that their money supply is then cut off. And for most people, if you save and invest over a lifetime, you probably accumulate close to what they accumulate in a shorter amount of time. But the difference is The people that accumulated over time and over decades, they have it at the end to spend and retire and enjoy. The athlete usually spends it as soon as they get it because they think that I'm young, I'm healthy now, and money's always going to be coming to me. Well, guess what? Most of them don't even have a college degree when they get out, and they've come from places that have no financial education, and once they don't have that money anymore, they go back there. They don't take a step up in their environment. They buy stuff that doesn't pay them, and once that money is gone, it is gone forever. Wealthy people don't do that. They buy assets that pay them. They network with people. They know that their network is their net worth. Most of them have businesses. They own real estate rental properties, usually multifamily, commercial, storage units, things like that. They get those monthly checks, and then they use that money to either fund their lifestyle or buy more assets. You have to start acting. Start using your communication skills. Start listening. Increase your skill sets at work. You don't have to own your own business to become wealthy. You can work for other people, but you have to be more valuable to that company for you to make more money, for you to get that promotion, for you to be able to, get another job that pays more for you to have more money. You have to increase your skill sets. Be a better salesperson. Know how to communicate with someone. Know how to bring value and solve someone's problem. When you can solve someone's problem, they'll pay any price you ask, especially if the problem is urgent enough for them to solve. That's sales 101. You don't have to be a genius, but you have to start acting different, because it leads to rule number 3, which is have. People want to have it right now, but they don't want to do the actions and change their mindset and identify differently in order to get the results. So to get the results, you gotta change, make changes, think differently, and then you gotta act differently. You gotta do different things. You gotta up your game. You gotta be a different person. And when you do that, you're gonna follow pretty much the path of every other multimillionaire and wealth creator, people that live financially free. You'll actually have those results. It's not a hard thing to identify with, but it's actually difficult to implement, right? Because it means that we have to look at ourselves and we have to start changing our habits. That's what this channel is all about. It's changing our thoughts, which is our mindset, our mission, which is our plan and our actions, and then the moves, which is the actual doing, the implementation of all the planning, all the financial education, and all the changes in our mindset. You got to put all 3 of those together in order for you to become financially free. Some other resources that I highly recommend. So you have Rich Dad Poor Dad. He's got a YouTube channel too, which is okay. But the books, you can get them from the library. Get the audiobooks. Hoopla, Libby, apps on your phone. They all have his stuff. Most of them. So I suggest starting there. The Money Guy show. He's excellent. Him and Bo, they both do a great job. If you want to go the route of, more of a traditional 401k, IRA investment kind of thing. They're your guys. Who else? Dave Ramsey. You want to get out of debt? You know, wealthy people do not have consumer debt. They may have a mortgage on their house, but they don't have high interest consumer debt. You gotta get yourself out of debt in order for your money to start working for you. And Dave Ramsey's your guy on that. He's the best. Just follow his baby steps. That's what I did, and it totally changed my mind, both as a business owner and also as for me personally. So in order for you to build wealth, to become financially free, to retire someday before you're 200 years old, you gotta follow the 3 money rules that I laid out for you today. So which one are you going to start implementing? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, this is Money Habits.